2,000 combat missions in Vietnam and rescued over 5,000 injured soldiers. Patriotism is not just saying you love your country. A patriot is someone who will support and defend their country. There are stories about it.
You're gonna say, are we talking?
I guess, can you hear me?
Yes, okay, I can hear you. It's like, we're all sitting here, there's no noise. I have to make some noise at my desk here.
Kestrel Land Trust, that's probably Liam.
Hello, sorry, I need to rename myself. Apparently I'm logged into the Kestrel account.
So because I forgot, I just now, like 10 minutes ago, emailed out to the commission Mary's pictures from 31 Lake View. So
I just saw them,
yeah,
but I
well,
was there, so.
it just happened.
So-
Yeah, well, Liam had asked me to send them earlier after our conversation, and I completely forgot.
So did the commission get the pictures when because I sent them to everybody?
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't see that.
Did people get them?
I didn't get them until I
You
got
didn't
them
get,
from Tessa
okay.
like 10 minutes ago.
Did you, and Liam, did you get them? Can't hear you.
I think you might have just responded individually to Tessa and not to the whole group, which is very easy to do. I do it all the time.
Okay, maybe that, yeah. All right, well, sorry, I thought I sent
I
them
just got
all
them.
to-
It's all right. I can always screen share it if it comes to that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I tried sending them from my phone this time. That's why, because I took them on my phone rather than trying to send them to my computer and then,
And then yeah.
yes, so if that didn't work, I'll go back to the other way, which is a little more complicated, but
Yeah.
Well,
I
I'm
found that-
happy to share things out.
I found that using Google, the Gmail app on the phone, it's really easy to just reply to the individual rather than the group. Because you have to press a special button to get to the reply all.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will learn something new. Now my granddaughter showed me how to do it. That's who's been showing me. She's
So-
7, so when she comes to visit, she shows me how to do everything.
Good. Are we still waiting on Miriam?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to wait just a couple minutes more. I don't. And
Yeah, I would assume she's planning to attend. If she
yeah,
hasn't
there is a quorum, and there's a lot of minutes. So I guess actually, if you wanted to start reviewing minutes or open, I guess I could read your call, Chair. If you want to
Let's wait till 7:03, which is a little
Okay.
over a minute from now. Did we get a plan for Lakeview Drive, or was it just the RDA application?
So there was a hard copy that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I got the form, but I also got the one with the drawings, like the maps of where stuff is going.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. And
But I
guess
picked it up,
I
picked it up at the town hall. I was getting something else. And Tessa goes, well, you might as well grab this too, even though you don't need it for until the next meeting.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm a
Yeah.
little bit in the dark. The only thing I've seen is the site back in January or December, whenever that was.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just have it.
so what Tessa sent wasn't all the pictures that I took, but I can explain so it'll make sense to you since you were there with me before, what it looks like. And from 2 of the pictures, it does show the previous haystack that we had put in. And then you know how it goes off and then drops off and we put them down. Right there at the top is where we recommended that he put a sock also.
I did that already.
Okay,
I did
There
it
we go.
yesterday. How you doing, everybody?
good. How are you?
Oh, here's-
So it is 7:03 now and Miriam isn't here yet. So I think we should go ahead and open the meeting of the Conservation Commission for March 25th at 7:03. Tessa, do you want to read the customary statement?
Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation only. The public may access it following the instructions on this meeting's agenda posted on the town calendar. If, despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide real-time access, the public can request a recording of this meeting by contacting the town clerk.
All right, great. So let's start by considering the minutes from the February 11th meeting. Did folks get a chance to review those?
I did, and they looked fine to me.
It looks good to me too.
Likewise.
Hi. Sorry, I'm late.
Hello,
Guys
you're
on,
here.
guys on minutes?
Yes, just
Yeah,
on
we
the first
just,
set.
we're talking about February 11th right now.
I can't hear you.
We're talking about February 11th.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. My headphone didn't work for a second. Could you just say that again?
Yeah, we're considering the February 11th minutes right now. Did you have a
Right.
chance to do those?
I did look at them and I did not have any additions.
Great. So we need individual votes for each one of these, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could, yeah, I think it's easier in case there are edits. That probably is easier to have it separated.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the February 11th meeting as presented.
I'll
I second the motion that we accept the minutes from February 11.
Okay, roll call vote. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye. Okay, so now on to the February 15th meeting minutes. Did folks have a chance to take a look at those ones?
Yep.
And they looked okay to me.
It looked okay to me.
Likewise. So I will go ahead and make another motion to accept the February 15th minutes as presented.
Second, Mary.
A roll call vote. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye. Okay, now on to what was the date for these minutes? I need to pull them up on my,
March
11. March
Yeah.
11th.
okay. Did folks get a chance to look at the March 11th minutes?
Yep.
I did. I didn't see anything I would change.
I'm looking through.
I had one comment.
Okay.
Under this, with the discussion about South Brooks projects, where we're talking about the Historical Commission wanting to do mapping. So I don't remember exactly what was said. We didn't take a vote, but I think there was some general agreement that it was okay for us to proceed. And that it isn't expressed there. So maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but.
I mean, I don't think there wasn't a formal vote, but I think there was no objection. If you want something in there.
Yeah,
give
just
me language.
even to say, there were no objections to this, and
Yeah,
Historical Commission will keep the Concom informed
Okay,
of any developments.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a public conservation area, and I think we're all interested in learning more about potential historic structures on the
Right.
property.
Related to that, and this is a little off topic, but I didn't know this, but apparently sometimes people mark mountain biking trails with stone piles. And so it was brought up at the Historical Commission meeting last night that this could be very concerning if somebody was constructing those piles and took them out of like a historic pile or structure, because that happens a lot where people kind of rob out. They see a pile of rocks and they think, oh, this looks great, but it's actually, something historical that we might want preserved. So it just added to the the sense the commission had of wanting to really take a look at this. So we're gonna try to come up with a proposal for doing a survey.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I definitely think avoiding sensitive areas would encompass historic
Yeah.
sensitive areas as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to be doing is trying to develop a plan to do a comprehensive survey of our own with volunteers and then, come up with a proposal to the Concom.
Sounds great.
So does Historic Commission, adding a sentence that says Historic Commission will keep Conservation Commission informed as the project develops?
Yes, that's
Is that-
exactly perfect.
Okay. Excellent.
And I just saw there's a minor edit where something is repeated within the same sentence, and I
Oh.
could just email you what that is.
Can you just tell me what page it is on?
It's under the Kestrel Land Trust, and it's the second sentence that begins with Craig feels that the commission does not have the capacity at this time to manage the trail at this time.
Oops.
Or maybe they refer to different things. We don't have the capacity now to manage the trail now. But anyway, it was a little confusing to read.
Yeah, redundant. Okay. I will correct the grammar in that.
Okay. Any other comments about the March 11th minutes?
No.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we accept the March 11th minutes as amended.
I second that motion.
Okay, roll call vote. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
I,
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye. All right. Well, it is 7:10 now, and we should go ahead and open the public hearing for 31 Lakeview Road. This is the RDA for Joe Salvador. So it looks like it's a septic tank replacement, correct? And it looks like Rick is here as a representative for Joe.
Good evening. I am here. Joe has officially put together the RDA. I did the septic system design. So if there's any specific questions with regard to the septic and what's required there that will have a bearing on Concom, hopefully I can take care of that. And Joe has more of the history and the previous silt fence that's been there and so forth.
Hi, Rick.
Joe, do you want to just give a quick overview for the
Well,
commission?
I just want to tell Rick, I also put another silt fence up yesterday after having a discussion with one of the board ladies.
Okay, yeah, the
So I
septic
did-
system
I got a
plan.
double, what's that?
The septic system plan includes what I expected would be probably a minimum silt fence, but certainly if you've extended the length because of other work that you've got going on or for whatever reason, that's fine.
Yeah, I did everything. I'd rather do more than less, so I make sure it's done right.
Good.
So just for everybody at the top of the little rise, there's going to be a lot of digging. So we had just asked for him to put something else there, which he's already done.
Cool.
And one other thing, Leon, I also fixed that spot you asked last time. Those
Yeah,
wheels that
the
were missing.
whole.
I
saw
fixed
that.
all of that. I did all that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's in the pictures I sent.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for sending those, Mary. I guess I'm running a little bit in the dark here because there are only hard copies of the plan and I didn't get a chance to pick them up. Rick or Joe, do either of you have digital copies of the plan?
I do have them. If I were to kind of step out of the Zoom meeting and go and find those and email them to the Concom address, would you have them?
Yes.
Would you have
Yes.
the reason?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to mute this and go and do that, and I'll rejoin you as soon as I take care of that administrative duty.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You can continue to talk with Joe about whatever else he has for other plans, and I'll come back with the septic plan.
So just for perspective, I did send 2 more pictures, Liam, but so when you look at the house where the cars were parked right next to the house, that's where the septic tank is going in. And that other area to the right further, that was started where some of the trees are already taken down to to look at that is where the leach field's going. So when you look at the plan, it's all across there that they would be digging.
Yeah, so I see the photo where the tank will be installed. And then, so are you saying if you are looking from the perspective of the photo, that the leach field will be to the right
Yeah.
towards the road?
So if you look, yes, if you're looking at where the cars are parked, right there on the right where we looked before and some trees were down is where the leach field is. So it's kind of all across that space right there at the top.
Mhm. It sounds like the tank itself will be closer to the stream and the leach field will be away from the stream. Is that correct?
So I think they're all linear. So
linear.
it's the tank and then it spreads into and then
Right.
the leach field. So it's all straight across that top of the bank,
Okay, so parallel to the stream.
parallel to the stream. Yes.
Okay.
That's a good description. Yeah.
It's always hard to talk about directions. when
Yes.
you're-
I know. It's like
You
they
know,
put
a little
pictures
context.
in there to show everything.
Great. And so it's not a tight tank because there's a leach field, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess this might be a good time to talk, Joe, while we wait for the plan, just about replanting. And have you thought a bit more about that?
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of like mountain laurels and stuff because because I can't put trees anywhere by the leach field, but I can put mountain laurels because the root base won't bother a leach field. So all the spots that I can put them in, that's one of the trees. And on the other side, I may put a couple more hemlocks by the road area to kind of screen the noise from cars. That hill after I get done doing but mostly, stuff like that. But I like mountain laurels and I like trying to get stuff that stays green, a lot of green during the winter time. And I've been talking to the tree warden. There's still one more tree over there that's marked by the road that's got to come down. That's dead, and he looked at it and it's pretty bad. So we marked it to come down, and if the town doesn't do it, more than likely I'm gonna be taking it down for him before I do anything, because I just don't want it to fall on anything I'm gonna be building.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Don, you were out there and you saw that?
Is Don
Yeah,
there?
it's definitely a dead tree. It's pretty close to the road, but it's also, if it was to fall, it would fall on the property. Seems like just maintenance to me. He's gonna put his hemlocks in at the sort of base of that slope there. That kind of drops off from the road right there. They'll stay small for a long time, and if he prunes them like shrubs, that's what they'll be.
Hey, Don, by the way, I did call up the tree guy. The guys had been out of work, but when they get back to work, I told them to put it on the schedule, so I'll take care of it.
Okay,
So that dead tree will come out of there. I told them I'd pay for it, so it's on their schedule.
I know I'm not officially in the group here, but may I ask Joe a question? Joe, were you able to secure conservation seed mix from Amherst Farmer Supply?
Not yet. I didn't get it because I was waiting to get all this stuff. I just got the septic stuff, but I will get it from them because after our discussion, that's why I've been looking at doing the laurels and stuff on the other side, that other corner there. But
I was
again,
thinking more about the area that we're talking about all the way to the right, where the leach field is going to be. When that work is done, it'd be great that you could get that area seeded in pretty quickly.
Yeah. That's not a problem. I was gonna do that. The seeding is, because I'm used to seeding all the time. I was thinking more about the stuff that I gotta dig and put in, but seeding anything that holds the bank in. And I was, after your discussion last time, actually I took a walk recently when I was there a couple of days ago. A lot of the stuff is starting to grow right back up again because it was all there. It just got, pushed a little bit, but
Yeah,
it's already starting to reseed itself.
Certainly after the septic system installation is complete, that's part of Clark Excavating or whoever's going to do the installation. That's part of their obligation to to get it fully seeded and mulched and the silt fence.
I just didn't want to see
until that's all
Clark go
established.
in there and throw down highway seed mix and
No.
introduce a bunch of Kentucky bluegrass and that sort of thing. Just because of the proximity to the river, to the stream. Conservation seed mix is not that expensive for the amount of area that's got to be covered.
So you're concerned about having that be in place prior to the installation of the septic system while it's currently disturbed?
No, I only meant after you were done with your leach field.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So if that were to become a specification from the Conservation Commission, that would be part of your conditions to say that not only does it need to be seeded and mulched, but it needs to be seeded with conservation mix or however you describe that.
right.
Can
Okay.
share the plan now.
Yeah, that would be great, Tessa.
This is just the 2 sheets that are the layout. The whole application that went to the Board of Health is multi-pages, but this is the 2 sheets that comprise the layout, or mostly just this sheet comprises the layout.
Sorry, trying to get it the right size. Can the commission see that
Yes.
Yes.
big enough?
Well, it looks good to me. I just wanted to make sure. I know that the silt fence is already in place, so it's not as much of a concern, but I just wanted to make sure that it was shown on the plan before we closed, because I had not seen it yet.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Janice.
sure.
So it looks like it says 75 feet to the brook from the SAS. What's the SAS?
Soil absorption system. That's
So
the
the leach
leach
field?
field itself.
Okay, and then, so the other, the tank is about the same, or the pit, or whatever you call the first part?
Yeah, the septic tank is about the
Yeah.
same distance, perhaps a little bit farther, as you can see by that plan. The disturbance, in order to have it raised, encroaches closer to the brook. So that's where I've said the temporary silt fence must be greater than 50 feet from the brook. That ought to be as close to the system, as far from the brook as possible,
Yeah,
just to still allow the septic system construction process to proceed. There is enough room in front of the house. There's not a lot of room, but there is some room there for staging materials and such, so that I'm quite sure there won't be any disruption any closer than that 50-foot offset from the current brook.
okay. And is there going to be, I've driven by it, but I don't remember, is there going to be any work done on a driveway? Because all of that is riverfront. So if there is, that should be included in the plan as well.
I didn't make notation about any additional construction for the driveway, because again, this is minimum requirements to meet Board of Health. And I know there's additional review by Concom for whatever else Joe may be doing. So I'll toss that to Joe. I don't know, Joe, whether you're planning to reconfigure driveway
There
and all or not.
was 2 plans with that. If the system is up at a certain height, I may have to go and make a parking on the system itself, which will solve, it'll be a straight driveway like the neighbors almost. But the driveway right there, I ran a sock all the way from the house, all the way, the silt fences go all the way around there. I'm gonna, the grade ain't gonna be that high. I mean, it's gonna change a little bit, but I'm just gonna put a gravel pea stone driveway like for drainage. That's what I was figuring out.
Well,
I'm not planning-
that should be on a plan somewhere and considered, because it's all work within the riverfront.
Yeah, so Joe, that's something that you're planning to do on top of the septic tank.
Well, It may go to the right or left depending on what's for parking, how it works. If it works better, moving it over a little bit and having it partly on the field when you pull in, so you can see cars going by. But I was gonna wait till the house was in place before I realign the driveway.
Okay, so if
But I
you're
was
gonna,
gonna put a P-stone driveway in that I'm not gonna pave it. It's all gonna be just for the water would, run off and drain and everything else.
Would you be bringing in a sub base for the driveway? Under
There's
this?
already a sub base there. There's already been a driveway there. That whole area over there, I mean, we parked 2 cars on it just a couple days ago. It's pretty hard based already because it's been there for, a lot older than me. So I'm just gonna put P-stone on top of it and I think we'll be fine. Even in the wintertime, I could drive up and down it.
Yeah, I've
Mainly
shown
a
the
piece-
driveway dashed in, which is the current location of the driveway.
Mhm.
Right.
I have not made accommodation here, and this is important for you to know, Joe. I have not made any accommodation here for any modifications to the existing driveway. If you were going to turn things so that you had parking area on where the leach field is, then we would need to make a minor modification to the septic system, which would be to put a downstream vent on there. If you
Well-
look at the notations over to the right,
Right.
I've said that no vent is required,
All right.
though one could be installed if you wish.
Well, actually, the driveway works now. It's got a, I'm just gonna I'm trying to save as much money as possible. So if I put the P-stone on top of the driveway and use it as existing, I'm fine with it.
I
If
think
you
it should,
didn't change anything, I'd rather keep it the way it is.
it should still be on the plan if you're adding a layer, you're adding pea stone or whatever, you're probably going to modify it to some degree. You're working in the inner riverfront. That's my opinion.
yeah, and I mean, I would agree. So Joe, I think we could either move forward with this septic project and consider the driveway as a separate RDA, or you could come back with an updated plan showing the change to the
This,
driveway.
I put the driveway as added for later. I don't mind doing that and get this part done. Because this way we get a better feel of with the field in and everything. I'd rather do it that way and then go back to you and say, with your assistance, say, okay, here's what I have. And do whatever you think is right on it. At
Okay,
the
yeah,
time.
we'll probably ask you for another RDA. So just.
That's all right.
Clear. Okay,
That's all right.
This is again a little out of my lane, but Joe, you may want to rethink your driveway plans after you see how everything holds up during the course of constructing the leach field. You're right, I've driven in and out of there in the winter and it's a pretty hard, good base. So you may conclude that despite the disruption of installing the system, you don't really need to do anything different with the driveway.
Right. Well,
So that feeds into what Liam was saying, probably best to do it as a potential additional RDA if you need it.
I like to doing it as a potential because this way we see exactly what the conditions after everything and then do it in the best. It may not need nothing, which is great. I like that idea.
okay.
Thanks,
Well,
Liam.
sure. Do any other commission members have questions about this project?
Nope.
I like the idea of conditioning the type of seed.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
Yeah, I do too.
And perhaps this gravel driveway is another condition that this is conditioned upon the fact that you're signing off on the septic system installation only. And if
Yeah.
there is other work, for example, the driveway, you've got to
Right.
come back for another RDA,
If there's gonna be any change to the existing driveway footprint, that they come back.
right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just to be clear that we're only approving work on the septic tank.
Sounds good. Hey,
Okay.
Tom, I'm gonna ask Tom. Hey, Tom. Is he still on?
Is there a Tom here?
Who's Tom?
Oh, Tom. Yeah. Sorry. Tom. It's been one of those days today. Don.
Hi.
It's been one of those days. I got a lot of things going on. I have an account at Valley Green and they must carry that too.
Yeah, all you're looking for is native wetland grasses, sedges and things like that. You're just not looking to plant something in there like Kentucky bluegrass.
No,
I saw the project that was done next door where it was seeded as a lawn. And I can't believe that any conservation commission signed off on that next to a river. I just don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, well, I do think that we have enough information to close the public hearing unless other commission members want to comment or a question.
I'm fine.
I have one more question. Is any of this in natural heritage? Did someone just check that?
I have, yeah.
Okay, and it's not, it's outside it? Okay, good. Thanks.
yay.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we close this public hearing at 7:29 p.m.
Can I ask a question? So what's next? This is all.
Joe, we need to take a vote first and then we can answer that.
So I'll
All right.
second it. Mary will
Okay,
second.
well,
Thank you.
roll call, David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye. Okay, and Joe, we will answer your question, but we need to reopen another public hearing, which is going to be continued. So we're just going to do that. It'll take a couple minutes. So let's reopen the public hearing for the ANRAD at lot H151. This is the Whiteman parcel. So we are still waiting for Emily to go out with Dan Nitschy to do the peer review. And I spoke with Emily. I saw her in the field yesterday for the peer review for another site. And she said they are planning to go out next Wednesday to conduct the peer review session. And I believe the invite is open to commission members. If anyone's interested in attending, you can go do the site walk with them. I think it's an 18-acre parcel. I think it's a little bit smaller than a lot of the Coles parcels we've been doing. But yeah, so we're going to be continuing this hearing until we get the comments from Emily. So does anyone want to make a motion?
So just the request from Dan was to move it to the next meeting, which is April 8th. And there, in terms of time constraints, there's one Coles ANRAD at 8 p.m., but otherwise the agenda's open. So to picking a time.
7:15 maybe.
Which Coles ANRAD is it?
Oh, good question. I had it open. Because it might, I think it might be Montague Carver, which in case that likely would be, I think, continued because we haven't gotten anything from them.
Yeah, that's going to be continued.
Let me double check. Yeah, it's the Montague Carver one. So
Okay.
that
So,
wouldn't probably be very long.
yeah, I would do 8:05 maybe.
Okay.
I would like to be positive, hopeful and do it before, but I think it's probably better to be safe and do it after.
Okay.
Montague Carver's for 7:30,
It's already was scheduled.
for 7:30 though, or for 8?
It was scheduled for 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a mosquito in here and I'm slapping at it. So that's what's going on.
Already? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, so early.
Okay, so does anyone want to make a motion to, I guess 8:05 is what we're talking about on April 8th. Does anyone want to make a motion to continue this public hearing?
For Whiteman. I'll make a motion that we continue the Whiteman lot H151 ANRAD to April 8th at 8:05.
I second that.
All right,
And
roll call vote. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
I,
and Cregan, aye. Okay, Joe, are you still there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so you wanted to know what's gonna happen next, right?
Yeah, yep.
So what will happen next is the commission will issue what's called a determination of applicability, which will essentially give you some special conditions for the work. And Tessa will mail that to you. And then once that's in your hand, you'll just have to comply with the conditions, and the work will likely, the work will be able to carry on just with the complying with the conditions.
All
Is it
right.
also a 10?
You'll be able, Joe, to carry it to the Board of Health. It does not have its Board of Health permit yet.
Okay,
I just
so
wanted-
that goes, does the town submit it, or I have to go back to the town with it and do the paperwork over there again?
To submit what, Joe?
The paperwork that we submitted to the town, does the Board of Health, they already got a copy of it?
It's already been submitted to the Board of Health.
All right,
It is scheduled to be reviewed at the next Board of Health meeting.
Right.
I've received the notification from Charlie Kinnicky, the health agent, that he's fine with it and recommends that the permit be issued for installation according to the plan that you've just looked at.
perfect. Thank you,
So
Rick.
they
yeah.
only wanted to make sure that they were doing their hearing after the Conservation Commission.
All right.
they
So
will-
don't go away yet. I just want a couple logistics. Joe, I wanted to ask whether it was more straightforward for you to pick it up at the town hall or to have me mail it to you.
Whatever works for you. You just tell me when to be there, I'll be there.
Okay.
If you want to mail it, you mail it. Whatever works for you, just tell me.
Okay, I'll mail it then. And then Rick Scott, do you want a copy mailed to you as well, or?
I don't need to have a hard copy mailed. I've sent a lot of stuff back and forth with Joe, so if Joe is happy with an email, that may be easier for you, Tessa. And
Okay,
if you're going to do that, then yes, CC me on the email. You've got those email strings.
Yeah.
You don't need a hard copy mailed to you, do you, Joe?
yeah, I would have to legally get a mail copy to
Oh,
that.
you do, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So, okay, thank you. I just wanted that clarification. And Liam, I don't know if you want to mention again the restoration plan.
Yeah. So we are also, I know we discussed this back in January about a restoration plan. We are hoping to receive that by late April, if I recall correctly, if not a bit earlier.
I think it was later, but we were waiting for the septic stuff. So now that we have everything together, just tell me what's the best way to go about it, because now you have everything in front of you and we have an idea of what we're going to do. And I did meet with Tom, not or
Don.
Don. I call him Tom, but it's all right. It's a Don. So I met with Don and showed him and talked about some of the trees and stuff. So I know what I want to put where. But that can be part of the whole septic plan, because that's what it was all about. If that works for you, I mean, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do.
So
I
we
work
need
with you.
that, is it a DEP form, Tessa, that,
No, it would just be, we would want to receive a map or a site plan showing where the restoration, what it was going in there, like a list of species, and also what species are going where, like a detailed description and a detailed map of where on the property everything is going.
so it's just a
Again, that doesn't have a
plan?
bearing on the septic system, but I'm not possessive of that septic plan that we just had up. So if Joe, maybe together with Don, want to take that plan and just kind of overlay it, mark it up with where they intend to put trees, that would seem to be a fairly straightforward way for Joe to communicate to the Conservation Commission what he intends to put where after Clark is done with the septic system.
Yeah, that would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that worked. Thank you, Rick. That was great. That's what the plan in my head was. So I'm all for doing that. It actually works out because it puts everything exactly where I want it.
Yeah, that sounds good, and it'll help us really understand where you're planning to plant things too.
Actually, I might call you in on that one to help me out too. Because I'd rather put things, if you got a minute or two at some point, I'll put some of the stuff where you want to put it on the hill based on everything.
Yeah, if you just want to email a draft to Tessa, we can get back to you with some comments.
All right, can you give me a little bit of time now that I got the system together? And the other thing, I rather put that together after the Board of Health looks at it and they sign off on it. Because then it'll make a definite plan in the location and then everything will fit in. If
Okay.
that's all right with you, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're gonna go to the Board of Health with the public hearing for them, and then you can get back to us with the map of the site
right.
and things.
Board of Health will be in April. I have every expectation that Joe will walk out with that permit because it's already been reviewed by the health agent. But if Joe has his septic system permit in April, I don't anticipate that Clark would want to go in and try to work that site until probably June.
Plus I want to fix up the building up a little bit. Needs a little love.
Okay, well, let us know if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to seeing the map of the planting.
All right. And I'll put the grasses that you want on it and everything on it and it'll work out good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the advice. It's been good, and guys have a good night.
Yeah, and I'll send out an email on the day I mail it. So.
All right.
Thanks, Tessa.
Not 8 o'clock at night, no.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
All right, good
Bye.
night.
Bye, everybody.
Liam, if this would, Chair, if this would be acceptable time, Erica Lerner from Belchertown is here on the call.
Great. Hey, Erica. We
Hey
hear that
guys, how you doing? Actually been kind of fun watching another commission do what we do. Like some of it's super the same and some of it's like, you know, everyone has their different styles. This has been entertaining watching for the last 40 minutes. So yeah, I know when you from your end doing this every 2 weeks, it's not that entertaining, but when it's a whole new commission, it was entertaining for me. So thank you for having me.
No problem. So we hear that you have some resources regarding solar development that's happened in Belchertown.
Yes, and one of the things that I'd like to do is actually send Tessa a link. Is it possible, Tessa, can I have permission to share my screen?
Yep, you should be all set with that.
Oh, you did do that already, smart woman. All right, this is what I'm looking for, and share. All right, so basically, when I first started with Belchertown 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, we had 8 applications within a few months for large solar projects. And I'm planning on sending the link to this Google Drive to so that she can share it with you guys so you can see the extensive record that this took. And one of the things that I ended up learning that was really beneficial through this whole process is that there's a lot more authority with stormwater than we think there is. Like I'd like to show you, this is, where is it? I wanted to show you the original site plan that they came in with. If you can see, they had two large fields, and these fields were asking for 2 separate crossings to get to them, which, you know, an alternatives analysis is, how can you justify 2 crossings if you can get, you know, just one and have and achieve your you know, the intended purpose of your project. And so looking at these things, we lucked out in the sense that there is Scarborough Brook going down this side to the east of the parcel. It's a cold water fishery. So, you know, we got to use some of the stormwater standards pretty strongly. And one of the things we learned is that having stormwater reports come in and then be reviewed by a third-party reviewer was incredibly valuable for us. Not that I would say the engineers were unethical in the way they presented the plans, but it was like pulling teeth to get them to adjust the way that we'd asked, to say that, you know, you can't discharge here, you need to treat here, you need to infiltrate, you need to phase, you need to stabilize the soils, you need to not discharge, you know, infiltrate to the maximum extent because you're near a cold water fishery. And they would push back, assuming that the Conservation Commission would just trust the engineer's stamp.
Erica, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you had NOIs. These were notice of intents that were for your Conservation Commission, right? Because they were doing work in the wetlands.
Within the riverfront, only a short portion, and then there were 2 crossings, but also within the buffer. Our bylaw says that if you disturb over 2,500 square feet within the 100-foot buffer, you need to file a notice. So that was something that would have been triggered for our bylaw regardless. Okay. Yeah. But, you know, if someone is giving you a stormwater report with an RDA, you certainly can still require a third-party review. And the stormwater was really one of the largest issues. We ran into a lot of things with the slopes, you know, how much ledge there is, will it actually infiltrate? They were trying to construct on 15 to 18% slopes. And by the time we went through the entire process with the stormwater reviews and reducing, we ended up denying the project because the applicants would not use the LID techniques that we're requiring. They wanted to create giant basins, collect and put it in one location. And that would be one of the riskier ways to handle such an open site versus multiple infiltration units that go along varying degrees, like gravel trenches beneath the solar panels, as opposed to just collect the whole 20 acres and dump it into a basin. Once, and this is what, going through the whole process, this is what eventually we ended up getting from DEP, that after the appeal, their final selection was to reduce the scale down to only this one field, remove all of the stormwater management activities, infiltration basins, anything outside of buffer entirely. DEP supported us on that, so that it was take everything out that was stormwater related from any 100-foot buffer. And this ended up being their finalized plan, was only one array, but it also still had 2 crossings. To get to that, they could have used a northern array. They ended up withdrawing because from the comments from DEP, from the ENF they were required to do after we triggered the state permit with an appeal, they found that no, you can't, there's no way to justify the alternatives analysis for 2 stream crossings when you can build it on one. And they got the exact same feedback from DEP.
Erica,
yeah, sorry.
So was all of this happening with the Concom, or is there a similar parallel process happening with your planning board?
Similar parallel process with the planning board. As they're going through the site plan review, they also review the stormwater management. In my town, our Conservation Commission is also the Stormwater Authority, right, which is, yeah, it's an unusual combination of skill sets that I got thrown right into. But it was, we found it to be really helpful to be doing the stormwater third-party reviews in conjunction with the planning department. Yeah.
We had a solar project that got permitted here in 2016, and the plan, if there was a period of time where there was this parallel process happening, and then once they moved, they had to redesign it out of the buffer zones, away from the buffer zones, they withdrew the NOI from the planning board, the Concom. So the Concom, I wasn't on it, but I was watching it and the process, and then it became solely the planning board's responsibility to review the stormwater.
So they didn't just pull stormwater out of the buffer, they pulled the entire project out of jurisdiction?
Yeah, yeah, they did. So the Conservation Commission was no longer having any jurisdiction.
See, I could see that being frustrating. On one hand, it's positive that they're not impacting any buffer or resource areas, but on the other, you folks are the people who have a lot of experience with erosion and sedimentation control, and how to manage open sites like that. So I would personally have been frustrated. But I think all of this should be reviewed by the planning board in the third party review system. The other thing is that
Can I ask a question about what the third party review you used?
we use tie and bond frequently.
You did tie and bond.
Yeah.
So because last time when we had a solar project going, the Concom had Emily Stockman just doing the wetlands third party review, but the Concom didn't have a stormwater reviewer. It was only the planning board that got tie and bond. So was there 2 different stormwater third parties?
Actually, no, we just had tie and bond review all of the submissions and give us their reports to both the planning board and
I
the
see.
conservation commission.
So they were working jointly. Got it.
Yeah. And we're lucky enough to have that relationship with our planning board, that we coordinate together like that. But it was one of the things that I found was that in particular, looking at RA filings, erosion control, phasing, stabilization of soils, fudging the change between pre-land cover and post-land cover were pretty common issues that we saw. And it was something that I would, if you guys get the chance again, I would coordinate that with planning and definitely use a stormwater, a third-party review, not necessarily for smaller projects, but for things like this. We found that just trusting the engineers did not end up having the same results as having someone else take a look at it. The other thing we found shockingly helpful was originally when this first happened, we call them the Pelham Hill residents. They're in the north end of Belchertown on the border of Amherst. There was a lot of emotional appeals in the public comments to this. A lot of things about, wildlife that from a regulatory standpoint, we don't protect. And eventually we said, here, listen, we understand your emotional reaction, but it doesn't actually get you this denied. You need to look at the regulations where it's failing. And I was shocked by the turnaround. We found that there were actually quite a few experts in our town, hydrogeologists, a couple of civil engineers that were quite happy to put technical comments in, and that really opened up our eyes to materials that we wouldn't have been aware of otherwise, and allowed us to question more deeply what these engineers were planning.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, is there anything specific that I can help you other than that third party review is awesome? I'd really love to I'd really not have someone else suffer the way I did for the first year.
I think it's great that you're willing to share documents with us, because I think that we're not there yet right now because we're just doing the ANRADs.
Yep.
But if there are NOIs that come before us, I think being able to look at what other kind of guidance has been given around things like slopes and stormwater systems would be really helpful. I know with the last project there was a lot of concern about slopes, and did you come up with a recommended grade, like maximum grade?
To the best of my knowledge, the industry standard is to not install solar on slopes 15% or greater. So that was actually what we ended up using, and it was part of it. We're like, you are creating 18% slopes here. This is not an appropriate place to be installing per industry standards. So yeah, we basically said, you should be under 15% at a minimum. We also pulled out Mass DEP under their state law. You guys know this. They actually regulate the the panels themselves as impervious, because they assume there's a break between them and it can infiltrate in the drip line. If you have a compacted site, if you have lawn instead of meadow, you're not going to infiltrate on site. So we ended up finding some paperwork from Maryland's DEP that was specific to solar installation, in that it does function as impervious if there is at least this much distance between, and it's below 12% slope. So I can actually send you that, because we did use that. Having a bylaw, we could use a stricter interpretation of what that was, so we didn't have to just rely on DEP's definition. So yeah, I'll send you that as
That'd
well.
be great.
Yeah.
Great, this is all very helpful. And I think we're in a slightly different situation since, I mean, we're making the assumption that these ANRADs are coming through with the intention of getting out of the Concom's jurisdiction. So I think we have been talking about coordinating with the planning board a bit, and maybe writing a letter of, you know, that can be read at the public hearings. But I think since the stormwater management is in their jurisdiction, they would also appreciate seeing some of these resources.
Yeah. And should this start being constructed, the second any piece of sediment hits a resource area, that whole site is now your jurisdiction. You can now manage the entire site, because the presumption is that up and until an activity actually impacts a resource area, if it's outside of 100 feet or 200 for the riverfront, that it will not, but you can overcome that presumption. And the second they don't have a clean site and it impacts your resource area, the whole site becomes your jurisdiction.
Yeah, one of the things that didn't happen with the project that got permitted back in 2016 was there was a recommendation that there be an environmental monitor. And there wasn't an environmental monitor. So for the last 5 years, there hasn't been any oversight looking at the site. They were supposed to produce annual reports to the planning board, but they've never produced any reports. So nobody knows anything about what's been happening on the site, and there's been no documentation.
Does the site plan review allow for inspections?
Well, everything could have been allowed. I think it isn't site plan review, it was a special permit review. And so it isn't by site plan, it's by special permit. And it was a decision the planning board made not to require an ongoing independent monitor. They said, well, the volunteers on the planning board would do the monitoring, but then they never did. And
if I don't ever know that,
and then they said, you know, you get the report, but then they never got the report. So yeah, who knows what has happened with resource areas there. We don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if there's still, you know, an open permit and the right to access and inspect. I'm wondering if somebody could get on there, or if there's any way to view the resource areas from an adjacent parcel. If you're worried about how that particular farm is functioning at the moment, if you find sediment in any of the resource areas, it now becomes something you can take enforcement actions on, require a notice of intent, require stabilization. And we got a lot of backup from DEP about that sort of stuff. They were really supportive about it. Yes, sorry, quiet.
Interesting.
Sorry, my dog has identified Zoom as the enemy because I'm not paying attention to her. So, but
so
yes.
You have this all in a drive, and it's some sort of drive that you're going to share with us, these documents.
Yeah, I'll share the entire the entire record. It's massive. Enjoy. Hopefully it's pretty well organized, but do take a look. And did I hear correctly? Are the ANRAD's Coles properties?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And this particular project was a coal parcel. So they may actually be looking at those ANRADs as a way to, can we avoid dealing with the Conservation Commission after this particular experience? But I think that your expertise in terms of stormwater, you should be sending comments to planning, even if they take it entirely out of your jurisdiction. Requesting as citizens, because you are citizens in addition to commission members, that you would like to see third-party review, be active and comment as members of the public, and then look for evidence if they mess up. As soon as any of that sediment hits your resource areas, it's yours, all of it. And then, you know, so if they try and go around you and they build a successful functioning site, wonderful. But if they go around you and they don't build a successful functioning site, you still have a backup.
Right. Great. Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much for coming and giving us this information.
You're welcome. And if you get further in, and like even like Tessa, if you're just lonely doing your thing in your office by yourself, because I know I get lonely in my office, reach out. I really, really, really like the idea of Quiet Rosie, of commissions partnering together, sharing knowledge. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff I've learned in 3 years, and I bet you there's a whole bunch of weird stuff you guys have learned. So
Yeah.
Thank
Erica,
you.
can you give us your email in case we want to reach out to you?
I have it. Yeah,
Okay.
I can
okay.
hear it.
Oh,
out
can
with
I
it,
can
too.
I ask a question too
Please.
before Erica leaves? Erica, this is Janice Stone. Who did you use for an engineer at Ty and Bond? Because I wasn't happy with people a few years ago, and I don't know if there are good people there now.
Oh gosh. Hold on. I can find out right now on
Okay.
when I pull up their review. I know the gentleman and he's really nice. I just can't remember for the life of me.
Do you remember the woman that was used on the Wheelock track, Janice or Don?
No, I wasn't really involved with that.
David Partridge.
Okay, I've heard that name. I don't think I know him. Okay. All right.
We've had very, very positive results with that. In fact, we keep going back, both our planning board and our conservation commission.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good to
You're
know.
welcome.
It's also
And
helpful if they've had some prior experience with solar.
yes, exactly. And they kind of already know all the little tricks that might get pulled. And yeah. Yep. And not that people do all the time, just sometimes. So yes. So Tessa, I will send you the link to this drive.
Thank you.
And also please do share my email address. And even if we just want to have like a joint commission party on one of our conservation lands, we should do that sometime.
Sounds great.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right.
Having your previous experience is invaluable. It will be such a support system for
Yeah.
us.
Well, and there aren't, I know there's a lot of tree huggers out there, but how often do you get to meet other colleagues like this? And so for me, that's exciting.
Well, yeah. Thank you for reaching out. This
Us
was
too.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
All
for
right.
coming.
Say
Have a
hey to
great-
Doug Albertson for me.
I will. How do you know Doug?
Chris Vellante is my supervisor at Kestrel.
You work
So-
at Kestrel, Liam?
I'm an AmeriCorps member there.
I actually am shocked I haven't seen your name via emails frequently. Yeah, like absolutely. I'll say hi to Doug. Chris just emailed me today, and actually we're hoping we got Forest Legacy program funds, I believe, off of the remainder of a project in your town coming in to help support ours through Kestrel. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
the Dubois project.
yes.
Yeah, congrats. I know that's very exciting.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
yeah.
this made my day that there's even more overlap. So thank you very much. And, I will send you all that info, Tessa, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you
of course.
Thank
very,
you.
very much. This is great.
All right, have a great
You'll
night,
be hearing-
guys.
I'm sure you'll be hearing from us with questions. So
Please do. And even if it just means I get to hang out with other cool people who do what I do, that works for me.
excellent.
That's
Have a
good.
great night, guys.
You too.
Bye.
So that was great.
So that actually came about because Erica saw the Hampshire Gazette article.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah, very cool.
You know,
Which-
it makes me wonder about, whether at some point we as a commission want to have some follow-up around the Wheelock tract.
Yeah, it would be.
Or address it with the planning board because, they were supposed to be doing like storm monitoring. They were supposed to go out if there was any major storms to check the site. And I think maybe that happened during the construction phase, but I don't think anything's been happening for the last 5 years. I don't think anybody's gone up there.
So maybe
Yeah.
I can locate the planning board permit because I know where the special permits are kept on the town hall.
I have it if you want it.
Oh, okay. You already have a copy.
Yeah, no, they were supposed to do annual reports.
Okay.
And I know that that's been discussed a little bit at the planning board. You were there.
Yeah, it was mentioned.
But I
Yeah.
don't think they've made a decision about it. And I think maybe, if we said we, wonder about whether, it's never too late.
Yeah, well, last summer there was an RDA, or I think it was an RDA on the Wheelock tract. Maybe it wasn't even an RDA, but I did a site visit with Penny up there. And this was when I was still a bit greener. But I do
Yeah.
remember her talking about those reports. And since we had some people from the solar development company, she mentioned the reports and they were discussed as part of the public hearing. We couldn't really, I don't think we could really condition it, but there is public record of discussing it last year. So that could be a good place to start too.
Yeah.
That was
I
last
mean,
summer.
you know, there were some, you know, that site is surrounded by wetlands. And they had to do significant redesigns during the public hearing because, you know, sort of as Lara was alluding to, the original engineering plans were insufficient and they had to redesign it. They had to redesign the stormwater system like 3 times or 4 times. It kept getting revised. They'd do a little bit, but not all of what was being asked for, and they'd come back and then, you know, there'd be a big discussion and then they'd come back and do a little bit more. So, you know, there were some steep slopes and it's a hilly site and there's a lot of wetlands.
Yeah, well, it would be good to investigate what's going on with that.
I think they originally, some of the parts of the array were going to be on 25% grade.
Wow.
Or more, and then got moved because of the concerns about the steep slopes.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience with that site, well, just from looking at it, being out there for the site visit, and then doing one of the Pratt South ANRAD peer review, was that it was not on very steep slopes where it is now, but I wasn't looking at a topo map or anything like that. So yeah, it would be good to get a bit more context on that. I think getting those annual reports and just knowing somebody's going out there to look at the stormwater system would make sense.
Do you want me to send an email to Deacon asking if it could be an item on there on the planning board agenda to talk about the Wheelock reports?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that a next step?
Yeah, that sounds like a good next step, and maybe finding what we discussed in relation to that RDA from last year.
Do you want to go to the planning board? If it's going to be on the agenda, somebody from the Concom should go to discuss it.
Yeah,
Do you want to do that?
I would go. Just let me know when the meeting is. And
Yeah, Tessa will know.
Yeah, I know they're gonna be talking solar with the select board at the next select board meeting on the
That's
5th,
on the
but
April 5th.
yes,
April 5th.
but I don't know that I'm not sure when it would be.
That's going to be a really full schedule.
Exactly. So but yeah, so I'll just have to let you know.
Okay, yeah. Whenever they put it on the agenda, just let me know and I'll go.
Yeah, I would let the whole commission go, so anyone who would want to.
Yeah, I hope if if these projects go through, that this time around, they do have an environmental monitor. I mean, Janice, you and I had this conversation because you were telling me that in Hadley, when some solar projects had gone through, they had an independent monitor, didn't they?
Yes, we absolutely require it because first of all, even though I'm part-time staff, I don't have time to go around to all of these every time it rains. There should be someone else whose job that is to report that back with pictures and a narrative. And then sometimes I'll do a pop visit. I'll wait till I get their report and I'll see if I agree. And if I don't, I send them pictures and say, what about this? So you try to keep them on their toes a bit, but it really has to be independent. That's been our error. Sometimes we've allowed the consultant for the firm that was the consultant for the applicant serve as the monitor, and that does not work. It has to be independent. But yeah, you need it. You guys aren't going to be able to keep going out there. You'd still be allowed to go out whenever you wanted to, but you won't be responsible for having to report each week and every inch, half inch or more rainfall, et cetera.
Yeah.
And just a quick question, do you hire an environmental monitor like you'd hire a peer review wetland scientist?
They have to hire them.
So it would be at their expense, but we'd be able to do it was.
But actually, yeah, and the Concom would have to approve that they have to approve their choice. And usually that comes down to whether they've got some kind of experience. There's several different sorts of erosion and sediment control licenses and things that you can choose from for someone who has at least some experience that way or years of experience, and that they're independent, that they're not related to the project. So the Concom decides how, on their nomination, whether that's acceptable or whether they have to find somebody else.
Right. But in the case of it being not within the Concom's jurisdiction, the planning board could also hire an environmental monitor, correct?
Or
They
have them
could.
hire it.
They
Yeah.
absolutely could. And I don't know why they made that decision,
I don't
because
know.
there was a lot of debate about it. And then, I don't know, Jeff Lacy said he was going to do it. And Jeff, he can't do that for
No.
5 years every time there's a big storm.
Yeah,
It's just not something a volunteer can do
or should.
or should do.
Right. Yeah, that's a big job.
And if it's 5 projects,
Yeah.
that's going to be a really big job. So,
Okay. Well, I think that was very useful, and I hope that we can convey that information to the planning board as well.
Uh-huh.
That Erica has experience with the stormwater side of things, and that she can offer that both the
I
resource.
did invite
and
them. I
having
did let them know she was coming,
oh, nice.
Okay.
but
Well, I wonder if we can ask Erica to attend a planning board meeting at some point to share that information as well.
Yeah.
But I think for
they would
now,
probably
we
appreciate
can
it.
move on, if that's okay with folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So should we talk about site visit follow-ups and scheduling?
that would be great because time sensitive. So the most time sensitive one is because this just came up, is that at 5 Cove Road, which is along Lake Wyola, there's a tree that the landowners feel is very dangerous. It recently split in like it didn't split where any piece of it fell off, but the trunk split. And they're very concerned about it. They have someone who can come out on Saturday, which is a tight for a commission member, but we wondered if, since it was on Cove Road, whether Mary, you felt like you could go tomorrow after, if you had this time in your schedule.
Yeah, I can go. You mean go and when will they want to meet out there?
So the landowner who I talked to said that she was available after 12, after noon tomorrow. And basically any time after noon tomorrow. So it could be evening too, I think. And it's just one tree that they're hoping.
Yeah, I can do that. If you just give me a
Yeah,
time.
and I would give, I have her phone number. She gave me permission to give it to you so that you can schedule a time,
Okay.
like let her know when you'd be showing up. Thank you. Because I believe you live the closest. That was the only
Yes.
reason why I wasn't trying to like,
It's a walk
thank
down
you.
the street. That's
Okay,
fine.
thank you.
So you'll send me the phone number?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Um,
Yep. Nope, that's not a problem.
Thank you. And I forwarded the email of the photos she took so you can kind of see. I don't know if the commission saw that.
Yeah,
I did.
looked at the photos, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks. So that one's the most pressing. Another one that just came in today is that the 32 Lake Drive, that's that tear down and rebuild, and then septic system. The Michelojeks, they are ready, their erosion control is in place. So that's at 32 Lake Drive.
Okay, so that's a pre-construction site visit.
Yes.
Okay. 32 Lake Drive.
And what were they again? I forgot.
So this was it was an RDA, but because they are using helical piers, and so it's a house rebuild and a septic installation.
I think Robin and me were at the initial site visits. You remember going there, Robin?
Yeah, I do.
Would you want to do that one together?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay. I'm wondering, sometime next week would be fine with me. Let me just
Same
check
here.
under. believe my evenings are relatively free, so I'm wondering if we could do Tuesday or Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
I believe I am free both of those days.
Okay. Good. Well,
What's
yeah,
your
I like
preference?
to,
Also, March 30th or 31st. So I think the
actually, I realized that Wednesday is my birthday, so I want to do.
Happy birthday. You just realized.
For
just
presents,
realized.
you can do 4 site visits.
Instead of 5.
5, okay. 5 is good. Let's get them all.
Um,
So Tuesday it is.
So
All
that
right.
actually is the same day as the, I believe that might be the same day as the ANRAD 150. So I don't know how long Emily's there for, but
The ANRAD's on next Wednesday, I think.
is that what you were talking about? Oh, next one day, the 31st.
Next,
Okay.
yeah.
Your
So
birthday.
I would prefer next Tuesday
At 5?
at 5.
Okay.
Okay,
So
I'll
I'll
put
reach out. I'll reach out to the landowner and
Okay.
the Michelob
and
Jackson.
we'll confirm via email or whatever. But I think this makes sense, Liam, since we were there before and this was just to go and remind me, look at what
Erosion control.
erosion control looks like. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
to confirm
makes
that everything
sense.
looks good before they start the project.
yep.
Okay, thank you. And then the other, so then, right, so on Wednesday, any commission members or next, the 31st then is that ANRAD for H151, Emily Stockman. Pratt South is now April 7th. That is an ANRAD visit. And then in terms of other pending things, if the commission wants to schedule a Southbrook visit to look at the flagged mountain bike trail and whether it's interfering with wetlands. And then the other thing that I need to keep on the agenda is that 12 Viola Drive there's a request for a certificate of compliance. I think it was a retaining wall. This happened before I was hired, but so it was when I
Sure,
think,
I'm not sure if I was on the commission for that
right,
one.
I'm not sure if anyone was on the commission at that time. I know Penny visited it. And so it's 12 Viola Drive, and if we have a sense of when we'd want to go out, I would send the commission the request and the order and all the background information on the project.
Okay. And then we also had talked to the gentleman at the last meeting about the tree cutting.
Right, at the retreat center, yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering maybe we could bundle these together for sometime in April.
Yeah, early April, because I just reread the retreat center email, or well, minutes. When I was typing up the minutes, he said that they were hoping to do the planting on the property by the end of April. So yeah, early April would be ideal.
Yeah, that would work for me. Should we talk about a date now for that?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay. First week of April, I could do 5 o'clock Monday between, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, it looks like. Except we might have a meeting on Thursday, so probably not Thursday. I don't know. There's a lot of dates in my head. I'm sorry. How about somewhere between Monday and Wednesday, April 5th, 6th, or 7th? Do any of those dates work well for people?
And what time were you saying?
5 p.m.
This would be for 12 Viola Drive and the retreat center. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, any of those days work for me.
I think they work for me. I keep feeling like I should run downstairs and grab the calendar that I forgot to bring upstairs.
Monday's the day after Easter, if that means anything.
April 7th is the day of Pratt South. And I was planning to attend that. Wait, is it April 7th or?
That's what I wrote in my, so I think so.
Right.
I could double check the email.
Okay.
That's what I had put
For some
down.
reason I had April 8th on my calendar, but that could just be a typo.
Well, April 8th is the meeting. Is that what you?
Yeah,
Me,
sorry.
let me pull up. Let me see if I can get the email. For 7. So yeah.
Well, I think in an ideal world, we could do the site visits on that day. The certificate of compliance and the proposed tree cutting.
On April 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. I will reach out to the 2 parties, the retreat center and the 12 Viola Drive.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then we have Southbrook is the other one that we could potentially schedule.
Right, but that's
That'd be great. I'd like to
less
do
time
that.
sensitive, but
Okay.
yeah.
So I just want to clarify, so the 12 Viola Drive is the 7th at 5?
Yeah, and then we're also planning the retreat center tree cutting for before either that one's, both of those on the same day at 5.
Okay,
Yeah, we can look at a map and see which it makes sense to go visit first, I guess.
Sounds good. And do folks want to schedule a Southbrook walk together?
I'd like to do that.
I think that'd be a fun, we can look at the trails and it'll just be a time to hang out as well.
yep.
Janice, do you think you could come since you know where some of the stone structures are?
I'd be happy to if it fits in with, my free time or whatever. Yeah. It's pretty open, but I have some things that get in the way.
Okay, that'd be great. I should be, I don't know when I'm going to be driving, but I'm hoping I'm going to be driving soon.
Good.
1
Wow.
month tomorrow.
Wow, already.
Yeah. Of course, the cat jumped on my bad shoulder. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yes.
Earlier was the Zoom bomb was right on my operated on shoulder, and he's 18 pounds. And
Oh my goodness.
And I'm not supposed to lift more than 1 pound with that shoulder. So
It's okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
So Miriam, when would be a time? So you said a month from around today, you'll be
No, I'm
walking.
just saying, no, I was saying tomorrow it'll be 1 month since my surgery. Now I'm hoping maybe in a couple weeks I'll be able to start driving.
Okay. So maybe
And
we
then I
could
can
think
do site
about
visits.
like late April, mid to
Yeah.
late April for a Southbrook day.
That'd be great.
Good.
Would you want to plan on a Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Saturday morning hike?
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Okay with me.
Okay, so either the 17th or the 24th. I think those are the last 2 Saturdays in April.
I will not be around on the 17th, but it's also not as critical for me to be there. But
and I'm away the week of the 24th.
oh,
We do the 17th.
I could do the 17th, I think.
Okay, what
I'm
about,
gonna get that calendar because so many dates.
You better.
there's a lot of dates being thrown around.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you guys are so busy.
yeah.
I'm impressed.
Busy bees.
Yeah, all the site visits alone, never mind all the filings and everything.
Yeah, some of them are
Well-
voluntary.
Well,
And
while Robin's getting her calendar, I just wanted to let you guys know that I spent a good hour and a half with Gail Fleischiker redesigning the Concom's website.
I had
Oh.
seen the differences in it. Easily found what I was looking for.
Oh, I'm
so it was,
glad. I'm glad.
I mean,
Like,
I'm not the best guinea pig since I already was sort of familiar. We talked about what we were doing, but
now
I
I
did
just have
notice.
to like try to get it ingrained in my head so I don't keep having to get her to fix it. I'm like a little afraid I'm going to mess it up, but
Well, but
anyway.
I really do appreciate you taking that on, Miriam.
No
so
problem.
Yeah, that's great.
I was noticing the differences.
It does look a lot better.
Oh, I was gonna propose May 1st, so Tessa could make it, but I am conducting a training for Kestrel on that day.
Is this still Southbrook?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Did you want to do like a Sunday afternoon or anything like that
a
instead? or-
Sunday, yeah, a Sunday could work for me.
Me too.
Tessa, do any of those, the Sundays?
I don't know if Robin is gone that whole weekend. Is the 25th open?
25th.
Uh,
I am leaving Monday morning, the 19th, and getting home the evening of the 27th.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you have to do one or more of these without me, that's fine, although this one sounds especially nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And
this
it's
is
not
the
as-
fun one.
Guys.
yeah. And the other fun one, which I didn't put on there because it can be later, it can be it doesn't have to happen in May or in April, is the Old Orchard Beach of redoing a monitoring visit to see it not
Old
not
Peach
fall.
Old Peach Orchard?
Old Peach, sorry. I used to,
Orchard Beach,
Easy.
all right.
To do
so
that.
yeah, grad school, I lived in Saco, right next to Old Orchard.
Ah,
So that's why I keep saying the wrong thing.
Old
I thought that was
Orchard
a good
Beach.
field trip.
It was very pretty. Yeah, I lived right near the beach. So that's why I keep saying the wrong thing. Yes.
I have a
Sure.
question about, what if we did May 2nd, Sunday, May 2nd?
Yeah, that would work for me.
That's open for me.
Cool.
Fine.
You
Wow.
want to do an afternoon,
That
2
work
p.m.?
for you?
Either morning or afternoon.
Does anyone else have thoughts on that, morning or afternoon preferences?
I don't have a preference.
Either.
How about afternoon? That way I can get a run in the morning.
Early afternoon?
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2.
Okay.
Let's do one.
1? Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
guys for all this scheduling. Appreciate it. Cool. So that was my list.
Okay, could we just run through those very
Yes.
quickly? I want to
Yeah.
make sure I've got them all. I didn't miss anything when I was out of the room.
Absolutely. So tomorrow, Mary very kindly is going to be going to 5 Cove Road for tree cutting.
Okay.
On March 30th at 5 p.m. Robin and Liam will be going to 32 Lake Drive. That's to check the erosion control. And then April 7th at 5 p.m. Earlier in the day, April 7th is the ANRAD for Pratt South. So that's joining Emily. And then at 5 p.m. on that April 7th is 12 Wyola Drive, which is a certificate of compliance, and then Retreat Center, which is a tree cutting.
Okay.
And then we just discussed going to Southbrook at 1 p.m. on May 2nd, Sunday.
Awesome. Good job, us.
Yes, thank you.
Organized. So I think we need to we already discussed the Lakeview Road RDA in the public hearing, and we'll talk about that later to maybe do the DOA. But let's talk about the building permit applications. Robin and Mary, do you guys want to report out on this?
Sure.
Sorry.
The 362 Montague Road was a garage, and it's actually a new rebuild. They don't have a current garage there now. It's not near any water or wetlands. They're just gonna flatten out some of the area, take down a couple of trees and stumps, and build
Some
a
of the
garage.
boulders. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looked fine to us.
Yep.
For the area they're gonna put it in.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they're basically just putting a garage at the end of what is now their driveway, just so they can have a place to put their cars in the winter and not have to clean them off and all that.
Okay. No wetlands in sight.
Oh, nothing.
Correct.
They're so high up, there's no water there at all. That's,
Is that at the top of the hill? On Montague Road?
it's kind, yeah, it's kind of.
Pretty much.
He said it was the highest place in town.
It's right across the street from where I lived for 15 years.
Yeah, okay.
I lived at 375.
A really nice street. I ride my bike there all the time.
Kind of hell though to live in the middle of it. Just
I can
saying,
imagine with that dirt road.
it's a lifestyle. You have to commit to it because it can be rugged.
Yeah.
Mud season, huh?
398 Montague Road.
So 398 was building a shed and actually really building a sauna is what they want to do.
From the file, it looked like that was denied. That using it as a sauna was denied, I think.
Denied by who?
The Board of Health, I think, or I'd have to check. I think I saw that because I saw that on the application. I was like, oh, they mentioned it as a sauna, but then somewhere on the file, it said that.
Wonder why.
That's interesting because he was talking like that was what was going to happen.
Oh, huh.
Because
Yes.
what we asked is, why is this so far from the house? Their 3-acre property is very long and thin, and this sauna shed is way near the back
Back in the woods.
property, and he had to take us there. And Mary even said, why is this so far away? Why aren't you like right behind the house? And he's like, well, we've got kids, and when you want to get away from it all, you really want to get away from it all. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to be running around naked in front of your kids, fine. But I mean, he definitely has a sauna in mind. So it's interesting. He doesn't seem to be aware of any.
Oh, I guess I should double check that. I thought I read that.
I wonder what
It is interesting because it is way out in the woods. So, you know,
Was
I
it
know,
gonna
I
be?
was
I'm not
thinking-
sure they would have electricity. I'm not sure how they're going to get water into the sauna. It's way back in the woods.
Right.
But it's not, there's no water around it. Most of the area is clear. There might be one tree he takes down. It's pretty much already an area cleared out for whatever they want to build, but
I mean, it seemed perfect for it. I told him, I'm going to remember this address.
nice secluded place. I don't see anything from our perspective that would preclude him building a shed or a sauna. Not sure how, like I said, not sure how we would do it. It's kind of like way out there. but,
Dry heat.
um,
So it sounds like if he wanted to build a shed out there, it would be fine, but he wants to build a sauna and he might not be allowed to by the Board of Health.
He might not be allowed. I'm trying to look it up again. He might not be allowed. I think they were saying he could build it as a shed and just he couldn't necessarily use it as a. I'll have to see if I can pull it up.
build it as a shed and turn it into a sauna. Is that what you're saying?
It sounds like he only wants to build it if it's gonna be a sauna though.
Right, because it's nowhere near, you wouldn't want to store stuff back there.
Oh, yeah, that
Spend
makes sense.
hours lugging it back into the woods.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure how he would.
I wonder
I don't know if they
what the Board of Health issue would be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. Because I want to be telling you the right thing.
Yeah, because he definitely was, oh,
It's
this is going to be a
secluded.
sauna.
yeah. And it's secluded. There's nothing around it. There's no water. You know, it is way at the end of his property. It's not around any neighbors. I don't know what the,
Plan review. It was plan review. Sauna use. Sauna use okay. Bunkhouse disapproved.
Oh, okay.
That was the part. So the sauna
Oh.
part was approved.
oh,
Sorry.
okay.
That was my misremembering.
Well, that makes sense.
Okay.
It didn't sound like he was planning a bunkhouse, just a sauna.
Yes, just.
Really
he's
trying to
talking
get
about a sauna.
He was really trying to get away from the kids. Just a bunkhouse and a sauna.
Why would they disapprove a bunkhouse though? I mean, it's like,
Because it's too far from the house for an auxiliary building, I think. With the
Oh.
zoning, if it's an auxiliary building like that, I think it has to be 75 feet. Is that right? Anybody know?
75, yes. Has to be within 75 feet.
So maybe it was more than 75 feet.
oh, yeah, it's way more than 75 feet.
Yep.
It's like a 5-minute walk into the woods.
Yeah, yep, that's why you can't have it.
It's an entertaining site visit. Sounds
But look, like I said, other than that, it looks good to us. You know, there's nothing. Yeah. Maybe he'll invite us for a party.
okay. So I think that's it for site visits. Should we consider diving into this DOA, or should we consider going into some of the new items and updates?
DOA.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about membership since that's,
Yeah, it's not on the agenda. I think maybe we could talk about it after the DOA.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. I didn't know if there was an update from the select board.
Yeah.
Well, there was.
Oh, okay.
That's why
I know there was the meeting. I heard about the meeting and I haven't heard anything since. So
Yeah.
that's what I didn't think anything happened yet. I
Well,
think
my
we're-
understanding was that they declined to appoint Don.
at the last meeting.
I thought they delayed it to another meeting.
Oh, is that what they did? They delayed it?
Yeah, I think they
Okay.
delayed.
Yeah, I thought that they delayed.
Because there was they hadn't heard from the commission. That was a miscommunication with us. I think neither.
I emailed them at like Tuesday after or Wednesday after the meeting, so that it could have been that. But I think I emailed them before they had their meeting.
Yeah, Miriam and I were both there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think they just didn't have it on there. They weren't aware of the. They weren't aware that the commission had approved because they hadn't heard it in enough time before the meeting.
I think both Tessa and I weren't sure who had done it in the past, whether it was Penny or Linda, and we both kind of dropped the ball. Even though
Well,
Miriam did email me, so I
And
did get to it.
I don't know what other people's impression was. I got the sense that they were delaying it, but that they were inclined at this point not to approve Don.
Okay.
Yeah. Well. So yeah. I guess. I think I'm waiting for a decision from the select board.
Okay. So it sounds like we just need to wait to see what they say.
Mhm.
So
Or do we want to reach out to them to recommunicate our decision or our recommendation?
I mean, I did.
We're the ones that have to, we're the ones that have to work with a member, a commissioner. They're not.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can double check that it's on their agenda for their next meeting.
Yeah, well, I definitely did send them an email saying we recommended Don be appointed.
Yeah, Rita verified that she had the email from you, Liam.
Okay.
And Mary and Miriam both explained that the vote had gone through. This was reservations that Becky Torres has about appointing another member to the Concom who has a no trespass order from 7 years ago for Cole's property.
I think there was a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I suspect there is.
As next steps, though, I can reach out to the select board and make sure that they are going to reach a decision at their next meeting. And
Yeah, that would,
get back
just
to
so we know, just to close
Yeah.
that loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can, that seems reasonable that I can make sure this time that they have it on their agenda.
Yeah. When did I sent the email last Monday?
It's on their agenda.
Yeah, Monday, March 15th is when I emailed them. So it should be on the next agenda.
But I will double check that.
Thank you.
That was a good. Thank you, Miriam, for catching that I didn't have that on the agenda.
Okay, so when we're ready, maybe we'll move on to the DOA.
Yeah, sorry, I was just finishing up that note.
Yeah, you wear many hats here, Tessa.
No way. Oh,
The determination of
Right.
ability for the
Yeah.
septic.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, I think just as I have some comments to make on that, but I'll do it at the end of the meeting. It'll give me time at the end of the meeting.
Sure. About
Regarding
about
the appointment,
Yes.
do you want, I mean, Chair,
Yeah.
how do you want
You
to
can
handle
share
that?
now if you want, Mary.
Hmm?
It might make more sense if you just want to share now since we're on the topic.
So Don, would you mind excusing yourself from the meeting so I can have that discussion for a few minutes?
Sure. I'll just step out of the meeting, and if you guys have something you want to communicate with me, you can do it by email. That's perfectly fine.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank
sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Miriam can add her 2 cents to the meeting as the new person here. I was very distressed at that meeting, how they treated Don, at the meeting.
Mm.
To me, it seems like, people have some personal issues with him, not professional. And everybody continued pointing out things that he hadn't done, from, not being allowed on the property to other things. As a new member and a new volunteer, my thoughts after that were like, I'm not sure I want to keep volunteering here, because to me, it seems there's some people that have opinions and they want to control who can see what, but it's a couple of people that have opinions. It didn't make really any difference that we discussed all the pros and cons and talked to him about all the things. I was a little distressed at the discussion at the meeting.
I'm
And
glad you're,
I think Don handled himself very well, because it truly was personal attacks or personal on him at the meeting.
Yeah.
For the comments, because he was there too, and I wouldn't have had patience to not object to a lot of the things that they said if it was me they were talking about. I was very upset at the meeting.
well, Mary, I'm glad you're speaking up about that, because I was upset too, because and I'm speaking specifically about Becky. She kept bringing up different reasons why Don was not a good candidate for the Concom, and it was one thing, and then we kind of there was a discussion about the one thing, and then she came up with another thing, and I felt a little bit like she was throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to find something that would get traction, but it didn't feel like it was getting to the heart of the issue, which was that she had some personal animus towards Don. And it did feel humiliating and unkind, and I think I said something about it being unkind. I felt like if people are volunteers, and Don is a town employee and a volunteer, I feel like people should be kind and respectful. Don was graceful about
in
it.
which they weren't. It wasn't not
No.
a respectful meeting at all, and
It wasn't.
truly made me reconsider, what I want to do on the committee as a volunteer, as a new person, because, I initially applied for the planning board and got bumped for personal reasons about the ANRADs,
Oh,
that were coming in, solar that was coming. There seems to be a few people's opinions that people listen to, just like the issue, and of, did they understand the COMCOM had voted? That was another distraction. Well, I'm not sure they did. Let's put it to another meeting. And the two of us were there as
right, we're not lying
representatives,
about this.
and we both clearly said, yes, we voted. To say I didn't get the email yet, or I didn't get it was all distraction tactics, so that they wouldn't have to vote at that meeting, which they did say they were going to delay it. But
I brought up at the meeting that we had a discussion that there were some strategies available if, for example, the commission felt Don was not being a positive and constructive member. For example, Liam could talk to him. Liam could recommend to the select board that he be taken off of the Conservation Commission. That's always an option. So that didn't seem to assuage anyone.
Okay.
And I really think it was humiliating for him. I mean, I wouldn't want to sit in a meeting and have to say, I'm a disabled veteran with PTSD, and sometimes between that and the issues with my family, yeah, I come across wrong. You know, I admit it, and I've said I'm sorry for the times that I've done it. He was very clear about it, but I think the discussion, I just was very upset about the whole meeting and how they treated that scenario.
Yeah.
It's,
Do you think that you should perhaps send another email as a commission or whatever and saying that we're concerned that you're not considering our, input we need another member and he has such and such skills that we feel, would be useful for the commission and stuff like that, so that they can't pretend that they didn't see or didn't know? I don't know, just to reinforce, okay, we did think about this and these are the things that we feel he brings to the commission. We have a load of stuff to do. We need a full commission in order to be able to get it done,
I felt unhappy about one of the things that came up in the meeting was that Becky said, well, Don shouldn't be appointed because he's been trespassed, and so has Miriam. And I didn't appreciate Becky making this situation an issue because it wasn't the topic being discussed. And I don't think it's disqualifying. We've already almost completed all of the ANRADs. I hope to be on the commission for many more years. I'll be able to do lots of site visits.
even if you couldn't go on the site visit, we don't all go on the site visits now.
We don't go on, and actually, honestly, as I mentioned in the meeting, if it was 3 hours of hiking up and down Poverty Mountain, I have bad arthritic knees, I probably wouldn't do that. So that has nothing to do with being trespassed. So that didn't feel good to me, but I wasn't the topic. It was really about Don, and he's been very passionate about this, and it just really saddens me, really, to see somebody like him being treated that way.
I mean, I also, I've spent 30 years in management and managing people, and I was like 400 people reporting to me at times. And, if you have somebody that's worth saving, yes, he's been perfectly upfront and honest about his challenges and the things that he's done, and he's apologized. And I think if you set some rules up, like if he gets on there and is going too strong, somebody can interrupt and say, how about we let somebody else do it? I'm sure if we set up some rules that we could control that behavior and utilize his skills. But really, that meeting was all about character assassination, and it was distressing to me.
So I hope you don't let them get away with that. That's, I've got my own problems with Becky as well, and it sounds like things are getting worse.
And it was really Becky. I wouldn't say, I felt like the select board was taking her cue because she was coming on so strong.
Well, and they also were basing it on clearly I think part of the problem is, if you want to come to this committee and say something, that's fine. But clearly everybody there knew what Penny had to say too. And it was like, yes, I understand people respect what she has to say, but it's almost like she wouldn't take him. So why should anybody else or anybody else? And it was almost like really it was discounting anything that we had to say as a committee. I understand the difference, but like I said, I just wanted to say something about it because it was distressing. So where that takes us, I don't know.
I mean, I could write again just to confirm that we voted and we had a long discussion about it and ended up voting to appoint him, just to confirm it,
Mm-hmm. And and I guess, if they have concerns, then they should have called you. To me, if they had concerns, they should have called you and said, we have these concerns. We're going to discuss it again. Here's what we think. Or if they don't want to do it, what are the specific reasons? And having a trespass order, if that's a reason, then I guess Miriam's got to go too.
Right.
Like it's not a legitimate reason.
There's like 15 people, 20 people who are trespassed. And
Oh, I'm
you know,
sure.
some of them are on other boards. So are they all going to be kicked off boards? I don't think so. So,
I mean, he even
I mean, I
volunteered
guess,
to go back and see if he could get that taken off, if that was gonna be an issue.
yeah, I don't
You
think it
know, I
was.
mean,
It-
he tried to offer several solutions to it,
Yeah.
and it was like,
Could we consider having Liam write an email saying, we understand you discussed it and you postponed it because there were some concerns. We're writing again to reaffirm that we are recommending Don, and we hope you'll take our recommendation to heart, or, you know, give it serious consideration, that he's our recommendation.
I think that's a good idea if you guys are willing to do that.
It's kind of like saying, you know, and you know, if you want to, and inviting them to, you know, they have to discuss it with us, so they'd have to come to an open meeting or have a joint meeting to discuss it. You know, they can't call Liam to talk about it. That's not going to work. But
so Tessa, did you have some, you started to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I can write, I mean, I was thinking that when I double checked about them having it on the agenda for next meeting, that I would send the minutes to show them, now that they've been approved, I can show them the minutes where the motion was made.
That's good.
and,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, that could be good. And maybe in that email, you could just reaffirm that we did recommend him after having a discussion about it. And that was our decision.
yeah.
Okay.
What about her saying the commission would like the select board to give it some serious consideration or something? Would that be okay?
That's fine with me. Yeah. Sorry, mosquito.
Close your windows.
I know, it's like, oh no, I found an ant today.
Oh no,
It's like,
the ticks are
What?
coming, guys.
they
The ticks
invaded
are
my house
coming.
last year, that's why I said, oh no, it's an ant, not
Gotta
again.
tick stuff out.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to hijack the meeting, but.
No, you weren't.
No,
No, you
Okay.
weren't.
no, thank you
I
for bringing it
appreciate-
up.
I really realized that the tone of the select board meeting was that way, that it felt intensely personal. So that's helpful. I mean, it makes me think that we should be reaching out to the select board to let them understand. I mean, I do still, my reservations about working with Don come from the way he talked to Maria as an abutter. And that's really it. So, and what Penny has told me, but I do agree that he has turned things around, and you know, he's been professional, and
Mhm.
you know, had to listen to us talk about his personal qualities. Like, I think we've done that too.
It's awful.
Yeah. So I
Awful
wouldn't,
thing.
I think if I was him, I'd be giving up already. And the fact that he's still interested, you know, means we should really be giving it serious, like telling the select board that they should be seriously considering it.
Yeah. I mean, what I said
Are you
to the,
okay
what
with
I
that,
said to the, what I said to the,
Robin?
I'm sorry. Who am I
Are
interrupting?
you okay with that too? Because I know you had some reservations too. Because,
Am I?
no, Robin,
Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
I'm fine with this.
you're fine, okay.
One of the things that I said at the select board meeting was that I just wished that, you know, I felt like this whole discussion was not giving people the opportunity to change or evolve,
yeah.
you know, and people do change, and, you know, we're volunteers. So
No,
the town has to,
people-
you know, we have
People
to,
make mistakes too, and what do you do to give them a second chance?
yeah,
If I've truly been contrite and I've listened to us go over and over and over again at this meeting, and then at that meeting, I mean, I think everybody deserves a second chance if you're willing to say, I clearly recognize I made mistakes here and I'm going to do my best not to keep doing it. He's not saying he never did it. He's totally upfront to say, I understand the challenges I have and I'm willing to work on them. So,
Agreed.
Yeah, I'd like to see some other folks in town government show that kind of self-awareness.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I've listened in a couple of meetings lately, and I've seen people at those meetings use foul language and interrupt people and do things worse than what they're saying he did, and it seems to be totally acceptable at other meetings, and so it just shocked me that the conversation just shocked me.
Yeah.
This should be a place as a member that you should feel like you can share your opinion. So thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, and I think both Mary, your opinion has really made me think about where my opinions are coming from. So I appreciate you being candid. It's made me think more critically about, what I actually think or what other people are telling me to think. So thank you.
No, I totally echo what he just said, because I didn't really know this guy before, and I was just going by things other people told me, and mostly, and I'm completely changed now.
I appreciate you I appreciate sharing my frustration.
I think we all need a place to do that. So if it's a Concom meeting, it can be that place.
Well, it is a public meeting, so I think you should be aware.
I know, it's
keep
like,
that
can
in
I
mind.
edit this all out of the recording?
Please take it all out.
It is a public
Please cut it all off.
Yeah, I mean,
We
as
went
you might
into
have,
executive session.
unfortunately, that there's very strict rules about when you can go into executive session. But I don't know if you noticed in the last minutes, I was very, I think, cut it down to like a sentence saying that the commission discussed
Yeah.
on Walk-Like
Yeah,
Penalty, because I think
It just doesn't have to be
exactly,
it doesn't serve any purpose to get into
exactly.
using the minutes to further humiliate people. It's
Agreed. So that is my stance, and
I appreciate that. You do a good job with that, getting the intent across without creating more bad feelings with things.
exactly, that is definitely, I am a neutral role, and I don't see the minutes as a place for any of that. So essentially, because legally, I believe that all the minutes have to have is the motions. So I think, in places where it's personal, there's no need to go there.
Okay.
so we have to do this. Let's get this thing done so I can eat my dinner.
Yeah.
Actually, I have another question. So out of all the, looking at the times for the meeting, why is this meeting so late at night? When a lot of the other meetings seem to be like 5:30, 6:30. Why is this one? Is that a set time?
Why
or-
is this commission different from all other commissions?
It isn't.
Why in particular is it? Yeah, is it?
The
Is it?
planning
late?
board and the zoning board meet at 7 also.
Yeah,
I
Well,
think
it's kinda
allowed
like
you to eat dinner. Somehow Miriam didn't get to.
I
but-
didn't mind sitting here. But I think it's kind of balancing, like people want to join the meetings. The public might come after work.
Mhm.
6 o'clock, people might be unable to attend meetings. And then they can't overlap, like we have limited number of Zoom accounts, so you can't have too many meetings happening at the same time. Would you like to do it at 6?
Well, I'm just thinking, so lately, I guess, and I don't have a history. The meetings have been going really long, and I don't know about everybody else, but by the time you get to really late, it's hard to be making decisions. If we're going to have this much work and the meetings are going to go very long, then I would say maybe we could, if possible, consider starting a little earlier so that we could not be so late into the evening. But it's just I didn't know the reason why why it was scheduled at this time.
Yeah, the meetings definitely used to be shorter. And there were times last summer when we were meeting twice a month where we did go till like 8:20 or 8:30, and then we were done.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So, and I do think if we
Radical.
really, really try, we could, in most cases, finish by 9, but we would maybe need to brush over some of the new items and updates to get that.
Yeah.
Well, that is the other option, is just to say at 9 we stop, no matter whether we got through the whole agenda. Because we have
The planning board-
really full agendas lately.
The planning board has done that, so that's completely legitimate to
Okay.
keep moving items.
So, I mean, in this case, I'd be comfortable doing the DOA and moving this stuff off.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff off.
I
Unless-
just had a question. What is the notice about maintenance with National Grid? Are they
Yeah,
doing
that
more
just
tree-
came in.
that more tree removal?
Nope. So I have the letter here. It just came in, and so it does not. Sorry. I'm going to try and write notes of what we're switching gears to. Yeah. So this is quick. National Grid sent us this letter, just saying that maintenance, above ground maintenance, is scheduled, starting. Let me see. Starting in. Sorry. To restart in April 20, yeah, so next month. The planned stuff is just all in the structures above ground, and then they're considering having to do some work in the footpads of the structures, but because it's maintenance, it would not require extra permitting.
No tree, they're not doing trees this summer?
I don't think so, because they said all of it is whatever they're doing is exempt under
Right.
in the under the state laws. So it was more of just an FYI. This is going to be happening, which is helpful for me in case I get public comments of like people seeing that the trucks are out there on the power line.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to sign off for the night, folks. I
Thanks,
don't know if
Jan.
there's anything further about the bylaw, or if you want to have a special time, a meeting, or what I can do to help and give me a deadline, and then I'm much better on getting something done.
Right.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Janice.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, determination of applicability.
Yes. Yep.
We talked about two conditions. One was the type of seed, and then making it clear that if he changes, that this is assuming, this is conditioned on his keeping the existing footprint of the driveway. If he wants to change it, he has to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing.
And that he would do a design of where he wanted to go back, where his plantings and trees would be.
Oh, right.
So because it's riverfront, it would be a -2 determination. And what I do and what what Mark Simpson has said I can do is that this sentence, please refer to the special conditions, I handwrite it
Right
under.
there.
So I'd left it here just so you could see it, but this, I will handwrite this up here.
Yeah.
And that, and DEP says that's fine, that it doesn't.
Okay.
You could put a little text box there if you wanted.
I don't know if it'll let me edit it in that way.
Oh.
But I could look into that. So then. Okay, so this. So I guess a quick question is, do we want a pre and post construction visit, or just a pre? It seems like it's varied between projects. So do we want both? Or
I think
just
he already put up what we asked him to do. And the extra one he's already put in before the meeting today. So I don't know if we need to go back out again, because the hay barrels are there and he already put up another barrier.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. Because in this sense, there was already a pre-construction site visit for this one. just
Yeah.
because the erosion control was already in place.
Yep.
Okay, that
Okay,
sounds fine.
That makes sense. So these are just the ones.
And so replanted with conservation seed? Or,
I believe what I wrote down, what Don said. Yeah, I think it was conservation.
riparian barrier seed.
Yeah.
Up above it says, once the site has been reseeded, with, isn't that where you want to put it?
Let's see. Where were you saying, Mary? Sorry.
On number 5, where
Yeah,
it says,
yeah,
once the
yes.
site has been reseeded with, do you want to just put it there with, to
Mhm.
put the with there?
Conservation.
Conservation seed
Seed
mix.
mix. Yes,
Okay.
that was the phrase that Don said. Yeah, I mean, not highway. He said not highway.
Highway seed mix, which sounds like it's non-native to the Northeast.
Yeah, we could
species.
even put native here.
Yeah.
Sounds like it might also be a variety of species too, rather
Yeah.
than just a
Says it
monocrop.
is Spotted Joe Pieweed. I'm looking at a mix.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then-
a wetland plant.
I like that. Swamp.
And then a restriction, right, about the scope of work.
Yeah, so I
Do you
did
want
just
to put it earlier
that
on?
makes sense. Maybe a 6. I don't
Like,
know.
does it make sense earlier on? Have it.
Yeah, I suppose so. Joe's more likely to read it. Okay, so what I drafted was this DOA only approves work for the septic tank and leach field period.
For the sep, what did you say? Sorry.
For the septic tank and leach field.
Doing well. Is it? It's not. It's not. Yeah. It's not leech like the animal.
Yeah, I spelled it like the animal and I'm realizing that's wrong. Anyway, sentence 2. If the applicant would like to alter the footprint of the driveway, comma, or perform any other project not shown on the plan, comma,
Not
not shown on the plan,
on the plan. I might.
then the applicant shall submit another RDA.
I didn't know if there's any other plantings that were related to this, or are we just keeping that to the restoration plan, probably, right?
I think the other plantings, the other replacing trees go back to the initial reason we started out there was because,
Enforcement order, yeah.
because they were taken down, he took down trees without the permit, so the replanting of the trees doesn't really go with the septic.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And he is planning to submit a map of the plantings on the plan that Rick showed us, so.
I would probably stick that in though. Applicant,
Yeah,
will
at the map.
we'll submit a map with the, whatever, however you want to word it.
Depicting planned replantings. Maybe before work begins, just so we're clear on things.
Oh, I see, before the septic.
Yeah, before
Okay.
construction begins. Because I know they are pretty related, because he did remove the trees for a couple reasons. I think one of which was to prepare for the septic installation.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I guess I kind of would like the word restoration in this sentence. The fact that it's a restoration plan.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea. A map depicting planned replantings for the restoration plan, something like that.
What a restoration plan map.
Oh yeah, that's good. A lot less clunky.
Does the commission want a description as well, or is the map sufficient?
A description would be nice too.
Well, I guess I can also put that a restoration plan description. Let me know if this-
I'm gonna start eating, you guys.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we want more in the description?
I
I think this looks good.
think it's sufficient.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I think so.
I think, and I know initially we were trying to decide when he was going to do this, but given how much, there's a lot of digging that's going to happen to do all of this project. I'm not sure he's going to be able to actually, he can identify what he's going to do, but not do any of it until after the project's done.
It's
Mhm.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be,
time.
some of it's going to be past the time for planting. So,
Yeah.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. He may be, well, for the grass seeding, you know. if
Yeah,
he's
the
doing
grass
his work
seeding
in June.
and
it's
some
gonna be-
small bushes he wanted to do could go in, but that if you're really going to plant trees, it's not going to be this year, it doesn't look like.
Well, it's hard to get grass to establish midsummer.
Do you want to say, put in here that the commission would like to see it have a site visit after the restoration is complete, or does that go like somewhere else? I guess.
Well, I think it does say a post-construction site visit in 3, right?
Yeah, I thought that was more for the septic, but it could.
Oh, for the restoration too, to see.
Yeah.
It does look like we can ask him to keep the erosion control in place if things don't reseed with this list. So I feel like that should be sufficient for now.
Okay. Sounds good. Excellent. Oops, I will stop sharing. Thanks, commission. All right. So can we have a vote to issue it?
Sure. I'll make
I-
a motion. Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead, you have
Maybe
it.
you should do it.
Nope, go
Okay.
for it.
All right. I will make a motion that we approve this determination of applicability for 31 Lakeview Road.
I'll second it.
Great. Roll call vote. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye. So are there any other items on this agenda that folks have a special interest in discussing tonight, or should we go ahead and close?
Should close.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't
agree.
see anything else that's pressing.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we close the meeting at 9:12 p.m.
I second.
That's good.
Roll call vote one more time. David,
Aye.
DeFont,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
and Cregan, aye.
Thank you very much, everyone, as always.
Yeah,
Hanging in
likewise.
there.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
good.
Good minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
So Liam, I get to see you on Tuesday. Oh, he
It's already
gone
gone.
already.
Good night, Robin.
Good night. I thought I was in a hurry.